Hey everyone, my name is Dan Shields. I'm the author of the Guitar Daily Workout. And today what we're going to start working on is a new system that accompanies the Guitar Daily Workout that's basically the improv series that will train you how to improvise over top of common progressions, progressions that you run into a lot in music, using the ideas from the Guitar Daily Workout. So the Guitar Daily Workout obviously is learning your scales, arpeggios, vital exercises, and those are some of the most important things you can do on the guitar. As you learn those techniques and get them under your finger and have them in your muscle memory, it's almost like an MMA guy learning moves or something like that. So it's training you the physical skills that you need to be able to play guitar. But if you don't actually pressure test the stuff and use it in improvisational settings, you'll never really quite get it. So, one thing that a lot of people do is they'll have like an understanding of like, oh, I know the cage system, but they don't really have it in their muscle memory. So if they don't have it in their muscle memory, they can't use it musically. But there's one more step after you get it in your muscle memory. You have to pressure test everything and put it into real live musical situations. Now, there's nothing better than playing with a live band, but playing with backing tracks or something like that can really help you to get your ears together and your hands together so that you start to use the stuff the way that you want to use it, the approach that you want to have. It's a little bit like this. So if you're learning a language, you might need to learn grammar, how the language is used, and some vocabulary, which might be like riffs and licks and stuff like that. And also with vocabulary is phrases. So you learn how to say certain things in a language. But until you actually start to speak that language and pressure test it with another native speaker, you never really quite get what that language is. So that's what this is all about. This is going to be the beginning of what I'll call common progressions for the Guitar Daily Workout. And I'm going to show you how we're going to use this. So in System 1, Week 1 of the Guitar Daily Workout. And just to know, if you're out there and you're watching this and you haven't gone through the Guitar Daily Workout, you don't have to. If you know this stuff, you can use this for your own improv studies and you'll be totally fine. But I would recommend that you make sure that you know what the material is and you know how to play that material. So if I say play the C form of your caged arpeggios, you should be able to do those really quickly. If you don't know what that is and you sort of stagger around on a little bit, then you probably need something like the Guitar Daily Workout, which is like a half-an-hour Peloton style workout for guitar, to get that stuff into your muscle memory. If you don't have it in your muscle memory, it's not going to do a whole lot of good. Okay, so let me jump into the actual material here. So in System 1, Week 1 arpeggios, we're going to start off with a very common progression. We're going to do the progression of the 1 chord, D chord, 2 chord, E minor chord, and 4 chord, G chord. And we're going to actually improv over these. Now, when I do this, I'm going to do this with backing tracks. And the good thing about that is you're never playing in isolation. You're always listening to other musicians when you play. So, part of learning what you're going to do is to learn the sounds of these certain arpeggios or whatever it is that we're doing and physically be able to play them. But you also need to listen to other people's timing and other people's chords that they're throwing at you and have your ears interpret that material and then still be able to play over top of other material as well. And that's a lot like playing with a band and what you're going to run into in playing with a band. Okay, so let's move on to the actual material. The way we're going to do this is I'm going to show you what the arpeggios are that we're going to use. Then I'm going to show you how to use them. And I'm going to teach you, what I'll do is show you the basics that anybody should be able to do if they have some of the basic ideas. And then if you're a more advanced player and you already know some of these ideas, I'm going to give you some ideas to sort of bump this up a couple levels to be able to make it more complicated for you so that you actually push yourself to be able to try some new things with it. Okay, so let's move into System 1, Week 1 arpeggio. We're doing the C form of the arpeggio with if I'm starting on the root for the D chord, but the C form, again, it's going to go like this. Okay, so that's your C form of your arpeggio. Now, when we do these exercises, you can use any sounds you want, and you're going to be able to use any phrasing you want. So you can do whatever you want, basically, as far as rhythmic stuff, but you can only use the limited notes that I'm going to have you use. And there's a real reason for that. You'll figure this out later, how important this is. Okay, so we're going to start with the arpeggio, as I said. So for the major chord, for the C major chord, or for the D major chord, Here's the trick. If I move that up to E major, of course, but if I say a minor chord, all I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the third. Now, I know you haven't practiced this if you're doing the Guitar Daily workout. It's all major chords in the first system. In later systems, it gets through all of the chords. But if I take my arpeggio, so I say root, major, third, perfect fifth, root, major, third, perfect fifth, and down here I've got third and perfect fifth. If you don't know what those are, it's just the names of the notes out of the scale itself. So out of the D scale, D is the first note, D, E, F sharp is the third note, D, E, F sharp, G, A is the fifth note. Those are your three notes, D, F sharp, and A for the arpeggio. Now, when I go to E, if I want to make it a minor, I'm going to lower the third. So here's my major arpeggio. If I lower this third to an F natural instead of an F sharp, I'm going to have that note then as a minor arpeggio. So again, this stuff is not for you to just understand and listen to. You've got to get your guitar, and we're going to actually go through this exercise. You'll play over the ending of this thing. I'll give you a backing track to play over. So you'll hear me talk about it for a while. I'll show you some examples of some things you can do. I'll show you some more advanced techniques on what you can do, and then you're going to play it. So make sure you have your guitar in your hand as you're doing this. All right, so major arpeggio, minor arpeggio. So we're going to start off with the progression D major, E minor, G major. So I'm going to do D major, are my notes, and then I'm going to go up to E, but I'm going to lower this third. So listen, there's my third. There's my third. I'm stretching with my first finger. Those are my notes for it. And then I'm going to go up to the G, so I'm going to start here on G. Okay, so if I'm playing, I'm doing one bar each. Sorry, I missed a bunch of those. And don't worry about the patterns that I'm playing. I'm just playing randomly some different notes on the thing, and that's what I want you to do. Now, when you start off, if you're more of a beginner on this thing, so you haven't done this very much, limit yourself. Limit what notes you're playing. So for instance, you might start on the D note here, and there's your three notes of your arpeggio. Now if I go up to the E minor, and then if I go to the G, all right, so let me play that with the backing track here, and I'll show you just what that sounds like. So I'm going to just do the top two strings only for right now. And any phrasing at all, but now watch. Top three strings. Then I can do the next string. Four strings, or five strings. Then I can do all my strings. Okay, so you get the basic idea of that. Now, I'm going to take this just a little bit more advanced for those players out there that think this is a little bit too easy for them. The first thing that you can do is you can start to change up rhythms. And what I mean by that is, let's say that your beat is 1, 2, 3, 4. So you could start off and have your basic rhythm be out of that. Then you can do triplet. Then you could do eighth note. Okay, let me actually show you with the track so that you hear this thing. Oops, sorry. So if I started with just quarter note basis on my rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe on this, if you're doing it really simply, start on the same string for wherever you leave off. So I left off on the B string, I start with the B string, triplet. And I'm using this as a basis. I don't have to do all of them. Eighth note. You hear how it's basically eighth notes as my rhythm. Triplet. Sixteenth. Triplet. Okay, so you hear how I use these different rhythms, whether it's quarter note, triplet, eighth note, triplet, 16th note, triplet, as the basis for my phrasing. And that'll get you switching up phrasing a bit. And then you can start to mix those up as well, where you just sort of start thinking through the different rhythms. You can even do it per chord. You get the idea on that. Then the other thing that you can do is you don't have to do all alternate picking. This again is for advanced. So if you're listening to what I just did and you're like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what that even means, don't worry about it. Just play really simple, whatever phrasing you hear over these chords, but chord tones only. Okay, for the advanced players now, the other thing that you can do is you can do all alternate picking on whatever you do, any phrasing that you do, or you could do hybrid picking. So you're picking, if you notice I'm doing pick and finger. You could also do sweeping. So you can change up your picking to also work on whatever, you know, if you wanted a sort of sweep picking thing, you can do that. The other thing that you can do is bends, and those are your two good bend notes. You can use bends, and you can use slides. So you can make this very musical. So I'll make just the arpeggios. I'm going to switch stuff up, and I'll make it musical to give you an idea of what I mean by that. thing I'd say is instead of just doing all straight notes, again, this is for the advanced player, so if you're not, if you're not quite there, just play what you can play. Whatever you can do to make music just out of these arpeggios, make music out of the arpeggios. But if you've been doing this for a while, you can also switch up where instead of going straight through, you can skip every note. And that one, you can definitely do hybrid picking type of stuff on that. Or you could do like octaves. And then same thing. And so on. Anything that you can do to switch it up in your brain to make it complex, wherever you're at, just push yourself a little bit further. You're going to do this for 5 minutes a day, and I'm going to give you now the backing track, and you play over it. There are no real rules as far as the phrasing. Whatever you want to phrase, you phrase. What you hear in your head, you hear in your head. Keep it as simple or as complex as you want, but wherever you're at, try to boost yourself up one level. Try to do one thing that you've not done before, but on this first one, arpeggios only, no other notes, no pentatonic, no major scale notes. Okay. Those will come in the next 2 exercises.